sitting here at the Swedish Sports Fishing Fair with Mr. Joe Peterson.
Hello.
Trueglide. Really cool. Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the offer.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to Sweden.
Thanks. It's my third time here, and every time I come, it gets better and better. Like, this show is incredible, and the country is incredible, of course, too. But you guys have such a good thing going here with the sport fishing show. I have never been to anything quite like this. It's probably twice the size of most of our shows. Really awesome. Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys should be really pleased with what you've got. Great bait builders here, really good energy, lots of people, lots of families. Yeah, well done.
Well, thank you. I thought that the muskie shows in the US were quite big as well.
Yeah, the shows are really big in the US too, but they're muskies only. So whereas this show is everything, you know, it's pretty heavy pike here, but it's everything here. So you have more people in general. And a muskie show in the United States will be about half this size, but it's just muskies. So it's pretty cool too. This one has more families. Muskie guys are, there's families there too, but this one has more families and more kids, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty awesome.
For the people in Sweden who don't know who Joe Peterson and Trueglide is, can you please give us a brief introduction?
Sure, yeah, I sure can. So I make handmade lures in the United States. My company is called Trueglide. It's small hand-built cedar baits. I'm one of the guys that really first started making handmade baits in the United States. So I'm pretty well known for the bait makers here, and I have a pretty hardcore following in the States and around the world too.
I know you have an interesting background as well. Yeah. Before lure building.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I've done a lot of. I like to keep interest in my life, and if you see something, you go for it, right? So I used to skateboard for a living. I managed one of the pro skateboard teams. I skateboarded for a lot of different skateboard companies. That's what I did for a living. And then after that, I owned I don't know if you know this, but I owned a professional paintball team, and we used to travel the world playing paintball. So so we did that too. So
and now it's more muskie.
Yeah, you know, fishing was always in there though. So the funny thing is, I've been fishing since I was a little kid with my dad, and fishing was always a thing that I did. So no matter what happened, I always fished. So for skating or for paintball, when we travel around and we do tournaments or contests, I always had a rod. We always go fish. And I always knew that when my body broke down a little bit more, that fishing was going to be my fallback. And that's how I'd always go back into fishing. So it was always there. It's just, you know, peaks and valleys here and there. So
is it fishing full-time now for you?
No, not full-time yet. So I fish a lot, probably more than most. I've got a great job. I work for a great company in the States. And I'm lucky for a U.S. citizen. I get 6 weeks of vacation plus a year. Most people don't get that, so I take my vacation a lot and I fish a ton. So, and I make my own schedule, so that helps too. So I'm actually here in Sweden today because I did a collaboration with Strike Pro and CWC to work on getting the lures that I make in the hands of lots of anglers. Because the lures that I make in the United States are quite expensive. I know that prices have gone up for everybody, but mine run at about $100 US to about $350 US. And I sell a lot of them, which is great, but the problem is they're going into cabinets for display now. And you know, I spend most of my time when I make the lures to make a lure that works to catch fish. So even though the lures are really pretty looking, most of my time is not in the painting, it's in the actual design of the lure. So although it's really flattering to me that guys are collecting them and they love the lures, I want them to fish it. So for me, a great way to get around this is to do a collaboration with a great company like Strike Pro, CWC, which everyone here knows, but in the States, they're not in the States. So this is a great way for us to get them into the States as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have, I think, 5 of your handmade baits.
Oh yeah, cool.
And I fish them all.
Oh good, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. There are still guys that fish them too, but a lot of the guys, they go right away in this, you know, they're in a cabinet and you never see them again. So
I try to pick my locations though, so I'll make sure that they still stick on my line.
You're right. Yeah, I have quite a few guys who've snapped them off their line, and you know, that's not that good. Yeah, right.
My favorite lure of yours is the guppy.
Oh, good. Yeah. Perfect.
So I have two normal ones and then one rubber tail as well.
Cool. Well, that happens to be the bait. Well, if you guys can see the bait here that we decided to design with for our first lure, and there's many coming out on Strike Pro. So this is the Trueglide guppy, and this is a polycarbonate, 15 mil polycarbonate lure. And we were able to do a lot of really cool stuff on this lure to replicate how I make my handmade lures. Yeah. And one of the things, I don't know if you can see it in the camera at all. I'm looking at the picture. Good, yeah, it looks pretty good. Is that my lures are pretty famous because I paint between layers of epoxy. So there's like a 3D effect to it. So if you look at my handmade lures, you can see there's depth to it and the colors really pop out. Well, one of the things we want to do with this lure is replicate that. So what we've done is we've taken a lot of the paint and glitter and we've done it on the inside shell of the lure, and hopefully you can see that here. So there's paint and there's glitter inside of it. I'll get a little bit closer there. And then we've actually taken paint and painted detail on the outside also. So you have this 3D effect to it. And what's really cool about that is that guys buy a lure usually because they like the color. Yep. They like the action, of course, too, but they like the color. But on a plastic lure, after you catch so many pike or the hooks rub, you're left with a white lure. The cool thing about this is when the paint finally does wear off, you still have your primary color in there. So you still have a lure that is the same color of the reason you bought it in the first place, because the lake you fish might be the color they want, or just because you like that color. Yep. So you still have that. Another cool thing we did my lures are epoxy top coated for my custom ones. We want to replicate that on this lure. So you can probably tell in here it's a pretty shiny, glossy lure. I'm sure you can see that. And what we decided to do, is we put this proprietary top coat on. It's called Nanotech. And it's the same stuff that they spray on the screen of your cell phone to make your cell phone glass scratch resistant and shatter resistant. Yeah. So that's on the outside. So not only does it make it look really glossy, it prolongs the life of your lure. So the paint's not going to come off that soon. So you have like a double protection on this. So pretty cool. So pretty cool from the looks.
Yeah, I really like these.
Yeah,
I've seen this. I haven't tried it real live yet, but I've seen the demos.
Oh right, yeah.
Seems to be able to replicate the movement of the handmade ones as well.
Yeah, that was that was the biggest consideration when we started this project. I was really particular about making sure the lure worked exactly like my wood ones. And the nice thing about working with a company like Strike Pro was they gave me free control of everything, and they said we won't put a lure out until you approve everything, and if you don't like it, we'll pull it and you'll never release it. And so they did just that, which is pretty cool. You don't get that often. So this lure works just like my wood bait. It's got a really wide open glide to it, a little shimmy on the paws to it too. The cool thing about this is the first version we released, and it sinks about a foot per second. I'm not sure how many centimeters. 30. Okay, 30 centimeter per second. So it's got a slow sink, but it stays where you put it. So I fish frequently for muskies in about a half meter of water or less, and I'll fish this and I'll fish it up high. But I don't know if Pierre Marjoret, everyone probably knows him. He's
we've done an interview with him as well, so he's awesome. On the site.
All right, we call him the pig snatcher. So we call him in French le snatcher de cochon. So he always seems to catch a big fish when it counts. But he fishes really deep waters in Ireland, and he says he'll fish this down 7 to 9 meters, which I don't fish that deep, and he'll let it sink all the way down, and he'll bring it back to the boat, and he says it stays where it's put. So the nice thing is it gives you a lot of breadth of ways to fish it. You can fish it all sorts of ways, so pretty cool.
He has 2 sizes?
2 sizes for now. Yeah, I've got the 13.5 centimeter. This guy's about 170 grams. I'm not good at this, but I think it's 120 grams. This is 70 grams for the mini, for the junior, and this guy is 11.5 centimeters. And then we have one more smaller one potentially in the works too. And these guys are all the standard 30 centimeter per second. We have a shallow version coming out though too. We're testing it this week, so that should be out pretty soon too. Oh, we can talk about the tail. One more cool thing. So the tails. So you can see this is the RT for rubber tail. It's simple as just screwing it on and screwing on a new one. So on first glance of that's pretty cool because you can change colors out, or if your tail gets ripped up from fish, you can put a new one on. But really why we designed this is because you have a bunch of options. You can see the paddle tail here, and we have the curly tail here. You can switch between. So a lot of times when I'm fishing muskies, and I know this will work for pike, so you guys better try this. When you're fishing for muskies and pike, they'll follow and then they'll veer off. And you'll throw back, and sometimes they follow again. Muskies, you can a lot of times catch them pike. Pretty much once they veer off 1 or 2 times, they're gone. But what we've been doing in the States is when you have a fish come in on this bait, there's a reason they're coming in. They're coming in because there's something about that lure that caught their eye or they're attracted to, but they just weren't ready to commit to the lure. So they'll come in on a squirrely tail. What I've been doing is, quick, when they come in on the squirrely tail, I'll unscrew this, and I'll screw in the paddle tail and throw it back to them. And now you're throwing the same bait that they like with a little bit different wrinkle to it. And I've caught a lot of fish that way, and I think that'll work for pike too, for the following pike. So a lot of guys will switch lures or switch rods to try to catch that fish. But again, the reason that fish followed, there's something to the lure they liked in the first place. So there's no need to switch everything up, just switch the tail.
How did they work without the tails? Just
fine, yeah. A little bit tighter glide to them without the tail, but they work great. So if the fish bites us off mid-retrieve, no big deal.
What I want to know as well, this is not really Joe Peterson's quality, but I'm looking for, are you coming with this type of tail as well?
Yeah, it's funny, when I first designed it, we designed this tail, this tail, and a fishtail. So yeah, so when we sell the three, we'll be selling packs of the lures. Packs of the tails. I think the fishtail will be in that one. If not in that one, we have a use for it coming up. Oh. So you'll see it too. It's pretty sweet. Glad you asked, because I actually like that one. It's got a little shiver to it. So when you don't want too much action, that's a good one to have a little shiver to it.
Very cool. How many colors?
Spokesmodel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my daughter.
Oh, gotcha. We have 6 right now. More on the way. We have 6 colors right now. So we tried to release a wide range of colors so that you, for whatever waters you fish. We have some bright colors. We have some more natural colors. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone. So
yeah, really cool. By the way, this is the first one, the guppy. Do you have a few more models?
Maybe. Yeah, we do. We have some more stuff in the works right now. So
really cool.
So look, this is the first in the line, and hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Just got to finalize with a question, of course. Peterson sounds very Swedish.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm from Minnesota. So in the States, Minnesota is a state that the Swedes and a few Norwegians settled that state. So it's heavily, heavily Swedish. So yeah, Peterson is Swedish, but I have to tell you, I'm not Swedish. My dad was adopted by Swedes.
Okay.
So yeah, so my real last name is probably Kuye.
Okay. So I realized that when you tried the Kaliskavia, you didn't like it.
yeah. Anyway, so I'm an adopted Swede.
Okay, thank you very much. You're Peterson.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Anytime.